Hello and welcome to Northside Speaks. I'm your host, Lori Salazar. Today we're discussing educational priorities with Texas lawmakers. Joining us to discuss more on these issues is NISD Superintendent Dr. Brian Woods. Welcome, Dr. Woods.
Good morning. Morning.
Good
Thank
morning.
you.
So we are talking about these issues right now because the 84th legislative session is currently underway.
Right.
And there's some major issues that we are focusing on, such as school funding is one of them. There's several.
So each session, our board adopts legislative priorities, and as you know, it's a long list of priorities. But as you mentioned, school funding is certainly well represented in that list. Accountability and testing and school choice are also some topics that are frequently mentioned in our list of legislative priorities.
Now, with that in mind, our board of trustees, we actually get our priorities in order and just let our representatives know, hey, this is what we're looking for, and this is what we need.
Right, and the priorities really is a way to kind of hand something to legislators and their staffs that says, here's what our issues for the Northside School District, but really if you look at our legislative priorities, they're issues that apply largely across the board to school districts all across the state of Texas.
Okay, and again, specifically with school funding, I mean, we had some major issues just a few years ago with school funding,
Right.
and that was really cut down, and now it came about a little bit, and they're still working that out. But what are we looking for with school funding?
There's a number of priorities in there, but I think you hit the nail on the head, and that really is that we had a major cut 2 sessions ago. Some of that came back in the last session, but we're still not where we were 4 years ago. And in Northside, we've added 8,000 students and opened 7 schools in that period of time. And so what you're looking at is a situation that's not sustainable in the long term. So lawmakers have got to go in and find a way to address school funding, even without having to address all of the issues involved with the lawsuit and all of that. There are needs of school districts across the state right now that just frankly need to be addressed, even just to continue our current level of service.
Now, school funding, and when we talk about passing laws, very, very detailed. But is there a way we can put in a nutshell, what do we need?
Yeah, I think really it's just a matter of let's look at the funding per student. There's all kinds of ways to get at that, but I think if you look at Texas, you compare Texas to other states, what you've got happening in Texas is really very good performance at very low spending per pupil. The last time I looked, I think we were 46th out of the 50 states in spending per pupil. It's an issue that needs to be addressed in our state.
Absolutely. Now, we're also looking at accountability. Tell me about that.
The accountability system that we have now is really completely test-driven. And what we know about our students, all students, is that only a part of their learning can be measured on a standardized test. And our current accountability system ignores those things that can't be measured on a standardized test. So excellence in athletics or in the arts is completely ignored in our accountability system. And in my mind, and I think in a lot of people's minds, that's really a very narrow view of what we do in public schools. And it's a very narrow view of the skills and talents that our students have that many of our teachers have given them, you know, as they've moved through our schools. So it's just we have an overly simplistic view of what's going on in schools, and that needs to be addressed. And I really think there is a movement all across the country and certainly in Texas to do that, to take a more holistic view of what a school looks like. That's not to say that schools don't want accountability. Schools want to know how they're doing. Principals and teachers want to know how they're doing. So it's not a lack of desire for accountability. It's just talking about how do we get at a more well-rounded view of accountability.
Now, we have little time left, so we're also talking about school choice and testing.
Right, and I'll just say this about school choice. We have concerns about our state's position on school choice and about the seeming desire to give away state dollars to non-public, non-traditional public schools without a lot of accountability, and I think that that's something that needs to be addressed.
Absolutely.
And then testing, everybody I think generally agrees we test too much, and we need to find ways to pare that down.
Okay, so certainly some of the priorities for Northside ISD, and we hope our lawmakers are listening to us and make some good decisions as they represent us.
Absolutely.
All right, Dr. Woods, thank you so much. For more information on these issues, visit our website at nisd.net. We thank you for joining us for Northside Speaks, and we'll see you next time.